the likes of, you know, Nautilus Orm being banned away, so I'm not too sure if the supports are going to be such a big priority. Varus being banned away as well. Looks like Aatrox is going to be the choice here for Baguette. Very interesting. Haven't seen this in the entire series so far. Interesting to see whether the Aatrox goes into the jungle or into the Baron lane.
I'm going to say there was a point in the Rift Legends last year where it was pretty much a desired pick for the jungle, wasn't it? Especially on players like Andrea Z. The Aatrox pick was anyway, but looking at that Kaiser pick come through has pretty much been a classic pick for the entire of today. Ooh. Also, Rakan does come through for Hestes, so again, one of his signature picks, and he obviously had a bad moment last week where all of his signature support picks was basically banned out, but it didn't stop him performing to his top tier. But now he actually gets hands on that Rakan is probably going to be an issue for the side of Baguette with Sauerkraut. But they do pick up the Renekton for themselves this time as well. No, actually, no, Renekton again, sorry, because they were in the red side. So it did really well in the early game. It's just how they sort of implemented it towards the end of the game, especially going against the Jax as well. It always seems that Jax came out on top with that 1v1 engage.
Yeah, I mean, Renekton does have the kind of early game advantage over the Jax, and obviously got the 2 kills as well, which gave him a lot of momentum. But you just saw how annoying Jax was later on in the game. You know, when it got to mid-late game, Jax get a few items. But there is ever a way a 7J 1v can 4J 1v 7J 1v, where does the 7 come from? 4J 1v, if there's ever a way that a 4J 1v can actually look to come out on top, it's got to be the Rakan pick. It's got to be Heste with his signature pick. We all know what he can do with this Rakan pick. We all know how well he can play this Rakan as well. So I'm super excited to see what's going to happen here with this Rakan pick, to see if he can be the difference maker in this series to try and turn this around.
Yeah, it's really weird that we're actually getting to see some Galio, because again, that was another pick throughout the last year's competitive scene, where Galio was probably one of the most sought for support picks in the game. So with that global ultimate, obviously with the taunt, with the knockup as well, you can get some great combos, do some great damage with that champion. But this is the first time we've actually seen him for a good time. I don't think he actually came out much last week either. He's probably either banned or just never even picked. But onto the likes of the Aatrox, as Aatrox can go in with his World Ender and stuff like that, it's going to be a great synergy between those 2 players, and just across the board, a great asset to your team. But yeah, looking at the Lucian ban, the Kassadin ban as well, and then over to the side of Baguette with Sauerkraut, they do ban out 2 of the bigger ADC picks, which is the Xayah and the Zeri. So again, we could be seeing, I mean, I don't know why the Garen's been hovered there, because we've already got our Baron lane, unless Renekton is going to be in our mid lane. I mean, I don't think it would be, but hey ho, let's see how it goes. Definitely not. We could potentially be getting that Syndra pickup again, because I believe it was 4J1V last time. I think it was Ishma, wasn't it, on the Syndra from last week, which we was very pleased with the performance.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it might have been a bit of a throwback to Garen mid. I remember when Garen mid used to be a thing in Wild Rifts, since there was so many AD bruisers and AD assassins being played in the mid lane because of how strong it was with the AP bot laners now. But now with AD carries being a lot stronger, you don't really get to see that anymore. And speaking of AD carries, we're going to be seeing Kalista being picked, and this is a crazy pick here for Azim. Is a pick that's going to be really interesting to see how it does competitively. I mean, it's a pick that does have a lot of potential, does have a lot of mobility thanks to the auto attacks. How well is it going to do competitively? That's, I think, the big question here. I mean, paired with the likes of Rakan, it could be very, very interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's such a fun pick to see. I mean, it's the first time I've seen Kalista in a competitive environment. Super excited to see it. I'm not too sure if it will perform too well, though.
Yeah, it's all about trying to, because obviously every time she attacks, she moves. So again, unless the Galio are able to keep up or try and lock down the Kalista, I think it could be a bit of an issue for the side of Baguette with Sauerkraut. But again, they have the Garen with the silence as well. You also have Aatrox that has a dash and obviously knock up also. So I think there's a way around the Kalista. But like you said, with Hestes being paired with Ezim, it could be a deadly combo on that team, especially with Renekton being able to set a single target CC, use Kalista just to completely just have a flurry of damage onto the target that Renekton does sort of pick out, which we're more likely going to see is probably going to be that Kaiser, because once Kaiser gets taken down, then Asol will probably be your next point of call, because you're not really going to go full on target onto the Aatrox, unless that is going to be the case where we see that Aatrox is the priority target, but they decide to go for some anti-heal and take out the Aatrox early within that team fight, because we know how much a staying champion like Aatrox has in these competitive team fights anyway.
Definitely. I mean, you got the Aatrox versus Viego this time around. We'll have to see if Baluz can have the same sort of effect with Viego like Final Wax did last time. Mid lane mages, both of these mid lane mages are just going to look to farm up. They're just going to look to suck the scale. You know, Syndra wants the stacks to be able to upgrade her abilities. Aurelion Sol wants the stacks to be able to gain more damage over time and also upgrade his ultimate. So I think mid lane, not really too much is going to happen. I think the Baron lane, Renekton's going to look to try and build up the pressure onto the Garen to try and play a little bit aggressive. I think all the action's really going to happen in this bot lane. You know, as I mentioned already, you know, Heste being, you know, Rakan being one of his favorite picks and one of the biggest highlight players, I think, in EMEA when it comes to supports and when it comes to picking champions like Rakan. He has so much playmaking potential. That it's going to be an exciting game to watch.
Absolutely. But again, we are back at that point of time again, Stu. It could be a clean 3-0 for us, a second time in the row for today. I'm not too sure how 4J 1v are going to get through this one. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can actually pull a win out the bag here with this, what we could see as a pretty much a curtain call team comp, especially with the likes of the Kalista and stuff like that. So we don't normally see the Kalista come through, whereas everything else on their team is very much tried and tested and does work in the competitive scene. The Syndra against the Aurelion Sol in the mid lane it could be quite punishing, but judging on Ishmael's performance from last week, I can imagine it's actually going to be a great pickup for the side of 4J1V. So again, Exa on the Renekton. We enjoyed it last game. Going against the Garen could be a bit tricky compared to going against the Jax, because obviously Garen has a little bit more health early game than the Garen does. But obviously the silence from the Garen could be a detriment to the Renekton.
It'll be interesting. Hopefully not too long now until we get into the game. We'll have to see how these teams start to adjust and start to try and play around this as well. But one more win for Baguette, and then we'll be able to secure our finalist as well, which, hey, if both of these teams get a 3-0 into a final, that means that tomorrow's final should hopefully be super exciting. Also, the third place matchup as well should also be super exciting, because you have so much in terms of, you know, a 3-0 smash into a 3-0 smash, and then a 0-3 smash into a 0-3 smash. So it's like both the teams should be on equal level, I should say. I mean, Baguette versus BBB tomorrow, I think, will be super exciting, because I think both teams have a lot of history, and both teams have a lot of players that used to play with and against each other as well. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, it would be definitely a good matchup to have for the first place one. But then whoever loses this one going against Almighty Capybaras is going to be really interesting, because we didn't see the best performance from Almighty Capybaras today. But going against a 4JV, giving them that second wind, giving them a bit of time to sort of like think about what happened today, could be the difference of winning or losing against whichever team does unfortunately lose in this bracket. But currently right now the standings are in favor for BWS, unless 4JV manage to turn it around.
Early game to start things around here. I think nothing too crazy is going to happen. You're seeing the bot lane at the moment, or 4J1V just looking to play a little aggressive in the enemy jungle, just trying to get a bit of vision around this Aatrox, seeing where he is around the map. Again, this Kalista pick is going to be super interesting in a bot lane. I'm really excited to see this Kalista, to see how it's going to do, because we haven't seen Kalista at all really since she's been released. So it's going to be a pick that, you know, could perform really well, but it could also not perform really well. You know, could also be a bit of a miss as well. But I think, like I said, compared with a support like Rakan, it could definitely do very well, because you really want to pair it with these engaged sort of support. So when you pull them in with Kalista's ultimate, you'll be able to, you know, push them back out again. You know, Heste can just push back out, use the knock up, use the ultimate, and then knock up again. So there's a lot of potential there in terms of crowd control that can kind of pop off.
Yeah, definitely a lot of potential synergy in the Dragon lane, but a lot of tip attack going on once again in that Baron lane. They love a bit of slapdash and tickle, it seems, up there in the Baron lane.
Dash and tickle. What's the... What sort of reference? Like, huh?
The dash from the Renekton, the tickling is the CC, and the slapping is Garen with the sword.
Man, I don't know what sort of tickling you know, but I'm pretty sure CC is a bit more than tickling.
Nah, I mean, to me, CC would be a tickling, or at least some sort of like stun or charm, you know what I mean? But anyway, less about me being tickled, more about the Baron lane actually going very much in the favor. That 1v1 was going definitely towards the Garen there over the Renekton, getting into the alcove to spawn the little mini little flinging rock creep thing. But then again, we have not seen much of an engage here from either of the teams. Heste's got pulled back there by the Aatrox, which was a little bit scary for him there, but was able to still get out of there using that shield onto one of his allies.
Has to get away from the time being the moment. Have to see if the Kalista can do anything, and have to try and see what they can do in terms of being able to try and get this Kalista ahead, or even this Kalista behind as well. As both the bot laners for now haven't gone back to base. Both of them are probably still sitting on a lot of gold. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with these two. As Baluz looks to go towards the bot lane, they should know that he is here. And yes, they're just going to back off for now. So nothing happening in this early game so far, Blam. You know, no sort of craziness. Double ultimates used in the mid lane here. They thought they could get a catch on the mid laner, but as I mentioned, nothing happening in this game so far. No kills, no real engages or anything. Both teams just taking it slow this time around.
Absolutely. Everybody's going to Clark's to get their shoes, it clearly seems, because that's the only thing that's being built on both of these teams. But, oh, Ishma was very low there. Oh, okay, Galio. We see you with the dive in and the ignite. All happy smiles all around. But again, we could see a 3v1 here. But with Aatrox very close by, I feel like that it's probably not worth the engage just yet.
The flash and the ignite in the end. I mean, Galio used everything to stay alive there, which is kind of crazy. And also using that Hex Flash. Look at it. The Hex Flash just coming in handy. The Kai'Sa being able to go into the bot lane. The tower aggro is perfect as well. And the Galio really showcasing how Hex Flash can be used on playmaking champions such as the Galio to do such incredible work. You know, the flash in the mid lane to secure the kill there, the Hex Flash in the bot lane to secure another kill there. Absolute craziness for the side of Baguette, and it's going to allow the Kai'Sa and the Galio to storm ahead.
Absolutely, and it is 1 second until those jungle objectives are up, so Galio coming in with that hero's entrance. Oh, dearie me. That was a little bit of a takedown for Kalista, and I think that pretty much answers the question that we were given in the draft there, Stu, is the Kalista going to be good?
Oh, the Iranian Soul!
Oh, no, the damage coming through there for BWS was pretty crazy. Viego is not too sure what is going on here, But as they do set up the Rift Herald takedown, we see that BWS is pretty close by, but Galio suspecting that, but Sudra with the balls coming through and the massive damage, but we do take down Viego thanks to Random on the ASOL, and they still managed to pick up the Rift Herald as well, even though there's a little bit of a contest, but it's kind of like watching an Overwatch match. Everyone's just trickling in, but now they're deciding to engage now that there's 4 of them on a 4v3 in this top lane, and all of them looking pretty low right now.
Yeah, they're all looking really low. They're going to look to maybe try and tower dive the Garen here. The Garen's doing his best to try and clear the whole minion wave. It looks like he is going to in the end. Now the Kaiser is here on 4 HP and the rest of 4J1V have to back away. That was an absolute fiesta of a fight at the Rift Herald. I did not think we were going to get that big of a fight towards the Rift Herald, but now they're going to use that Rift Herald in the mid lane to funnel more gold into this Kai'Sa. Mumu already has a kill and now has the first tower local gold as well. So a lot of things going in favor of Baguette in this third and potential final game here in this series. And it really all came down to the lockdown again of the Kalista. You know, I was mentioning it during Champ Select, you know, this Kalista can do well, but could also get locked down very easily and could also be a bit of a struggle to play against. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening in this game. The crowd control is just too much for Kalista to deal with. And Kalista doesn't have that much big of a range. It becomes really difficult to play her. Blade of Ruin King online now for the Kalista. Stealing a little bit more movement speed might help, but I don't think too much.
No, yeah, just like you were saying, it was all sort of very calm before the storm, before these both jungle objectives came up. But now we're kind of seeing a lot of tip-tat and very fatal tip-tat going on right now. We see that the Galio does get taken down by Viego. He steals the soul as well. So we see that massive engage CC coming through from BWS, setting up the kill onto Kalista. But Kalista is currently looking like the next one to go down, but she's still behind the back of the lines. But it is Patterson that takes down the Kalista as well. It is a 3-2 trade currently for 4JV, so bringing back that a little bit. 3 kills to 2, but getting the dragon, I would say that's still an even sort of win there between both of these teams. But BWS is not done.
The BWS is not done trying to defend that bot lane tower. Looks like he's going to defend it in the end. And Heste as well going to do extremely well to try and get away. Tries to use a flash, tries to use a blasting cone, but you've run straight into the Galio, my friend. That is another kill over to the Kai'Sa. And that is going to look extremely scary now for the side of 4J1V. They are slowly losing momentum in this game. They're slowly losing the potential to try and come back in this series. And Baguette's 2,000 gold leads. And it technically is a bit of a France versus France battle. It looks like the only team that are winning right now. Okay, the Viego stun came in the end. Maybe Viego can steal the soul away from the Kai'Sa. Can maybe do a little bit too much. No, can't do anything else in the end. They do get a kill back. I mean, it's still such a difficult game to call, Blam. I feel like there's just so many trades happening, so many kills happening as well across the board that you feel like Baguette have an advantage, but then they step a little bit too far and then suddenly 4J1V get a few kills back.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was honestly looking like a BWS quick win in this game 3, but the Kalista is definitely turned like online now and picking up the ASOL. We're seeing definitely a few trading kills here and there, and I'm not too sure where this one's actually going to go because currently they're pretty even in terms of the turrets, but it looks like 4JV are looking to now completely equalize that equal turret game right now. Aatrox and Patterson here on the Garen looking to go 2v1 on the Renekton, but they have to be careful because Rakan is on his way up to give that support that he needs, but they do take the turret in the Baron lane. So again, giving themselves 2 turrets again a piece right now. So once again, it is all equal. Again, we are just waiting for our next big team fight to see who comes out on top. But Ezim right now is behind in the gold compared to the Kaiser on the side of BWS.
Now, I think there's going to be a big goal difference in this AD carry at the moment, which makes it really difficult right now, I think, for SM to even try and look forward in these team fights. The ultimate's going to come down from the Radiant Soul. Unfortunately, not going to get a kill just yet. Heste is there with the plays in the end. The knockup's going to come in from the Galio. The Viego does get a reset, but can't get close enough to steal the soul just yet. Now he gets close enough to steal the soul. Now he can use the abilities there for Viego. And now Azim getting another kill in the end. Unstoppable for Viego. Doing incredibly well with this champion and just proving how this champion can be incredibly strong. And now 4J1V are going to be able to try and push even more towers.
Yeah, Baguette WS are looking like they're on the back foot right now because they lose their first second tier turret in that mid lane, which could be vital for them going forward into the 12th minute of this game. Both the jungle objectives are back up in 23 seconds and 27 seconds for the Infernal Dragon. But again, I think we're probably going to see a big effort from BWS potentially going for the Infernal Dragon Soul just so they can try and go all the way and claim that Ice Dragon Soul towards the end of the game, because if they get that, I feel like they could potentially bring back that kill deficit that they're currently sitting in right now. But the gold lead is still almost in the same favor of BWS, even though they're behind with the kills. It doesn't really matter. They always seem to find a way to be ahead with the kills. But again, huge engage from the Rakan. Proto Belt coming through for Hestes into the back line. They managed to take out the Garen as well. So it's all going in the favor of BWS once, for JV once again. I don't know how much more BWS can take of this to try and win this third game. Easy peasy.
It's going to be extremely difficult now. This Viego is completely popping off. And even though Ezim is not doing too much, again, you know who it is? It's the man in the support role. It's Heste again, finding the engages time and time again. We knew that it was this pocket pick. We knew that this was a possibility for Heste to actually be the difference in this series and in this game. Look at this sneaky play at the moment. Look at them just trying to sneak around, trying to get another kill here. It's only a Garen though, so I don't think they're going to really kill the Garen just yet. They do need to be a little bit careful though, as the Garen, or maybe he is a bit too squishy. Heste with the ultimate again, making another incredible play onto the Garen. And then they're going to look to try and push and end this game right here, right now with this Baron buff. It's going to be extremely difficult here. But no, they're only going to take one tier 2 tower so far. They might try and look to take more. 4J1V have played a lot better in this game at finding the picks around the map, especially with their composition. You know, the Viego plus the Rakan doing so much damage in the end, doing so much work. And you can see, look at the crowd control, look at the CC. There's nothing that Galio could do about it. Kalista is now unstoppable from what looked like a dire star for this Kalista. He has turned things around this time.
Absolutely. I mean, we were definitely doubting the Kalista early game, but now it's definitely seemed like it's online and ahead of the Kaiser in gold now. So it was just a matter of time for the Kalista to go activated, online, just like Skynet of the Wild Rift right now. But it's not the only lead in gold that they have. Viego is currently 616 towards, the Aatrox there. So up by 2k gold, just about. But it's very different. It's very much more close in terms of the Baron lane, the middle lane, and obviously the support lane can do whatever they want to do. Sort of like their gold's very, very small anyway, so don't worry about those guys. They're just doing bits to support the team. But it's very nice to see that Ezim has managed to turn around that gold deficit that we were seeing pretty much like 3 to 4 minutes ago.
Oh, it's going to be so hard here. You're going to try and get a pick here onto the Syndra in the mid lane. This might be the go-to button for Baguette. They need to run away though, because the rest of the team is also here to play. But that could be the pick that could turn things around here for Baguette. Renekton has to use the flash to get away to safety. And now Baguette are looking to try and turn things around. They have lost the inhibitor tower in that mid lane. The top lane inhibitor tower also pretty low to going down. Now they're going to look to try and make a play again here in this bottom side, but they're all by themselves. What is Patterson and Galio doing? They're all by themselves. The rest of the team went into the top side of the map, and Viego is now godlike. And Baluz is turning this game around and saying, hey, this was maybe the difference here, trying to pick this Viego, trying to make sure that we get the blue side pick. Another kill here for the Viego. He's going to get another one, a double kill. 9, 1, and 6 now for the Viego. And it looks like that we're going to be going to a game number 4 here. It's another kill. Oh, extremely close there. Aatrox surviving on 1 HP, but looking to try and end the game here. They have the super minions in the base. Kai'Sa and Aatrox have to try and clear this minion wave, but they can't clear anything at all. The Nexus is going to be attacked, and that means we're going to be getting a game number 4. No 3-0 this time around. And 4J1V with an incredible game, bounce things around and turn them around to take us to game 4.
I thought Hecarim wasn't in that game, but did you see how fast Aatrox went at the end of that match? I've never seen Aatrox move so quick. He was like, I'm getting out of here. I want to stay alive. I don't want to die for a 4th time. No, thank you. But yeah, absolutely brilliantly played by 4JV, because we were doubting the Kalista pick in the draft towards the early game as well, getting picked off. But then we saw that it was doing well, but it was still struggling with the goal difference. But then we looked over that 14-minute mark. The Kalista pick had 6-1-6 and then finished on 6-3-10. So again, just like the gold graph dictates there, we can see that the red team had a very strong hold in